Good morning, good morning, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world right now. This is the Rug Detective Show coming to you with another show. It's Sunday morning here in Europe, so basically we're going to give you an update on what's happened in terms of the market. So before we start, please do not forget to go to my Twitter account, so at Detectives Rug. Go onto YouTube, make sure you follow, make sure you like, make sure you comment. We want to try and we'll get the algorithms going so we could be able to spread the word and build this across, globally in terms of what we're trying to achieve and build a strong, very community and provide added value. So let's get straight to it, shall we? So first and foremost, here we're going to take a look at, as we always do, we're going to take a look at the chart. So we've just seen a phenomenal climb in the price in BTC. This is a daily time frame. Market has been hovering and holding just above the upward trend line. As we see, we're now just around the 40,900 level. We did test the 41,009, so just below 42. It shows that there's nothing really stopping a continuation to the upside, where it can potentially actually get to even 50, 60, 70, 100 by the end of the year. I do see, however, as I stated the last few days, I do see that the price in terms of the RSI is currently overbought. It's quite expensive here. Stochastic RSI is also expensive, so there should be some form of a pullback in terms of not a dump but a pullback, whereby price can be able to then find some form of a range and an accumulation occurring again. So I do see that price should actually pull back around to the previous take this away because that's actually not required. I do see a upward trend line, so it's extremely steep right now in the price, but if I draw this in, the next support trend line would be around the 35,000 level. So we could see a 20% move to the downside, that would be very, very good for the price, because obviously it needs to show some form of a retracement, which will be able to attract more interested buyers in the price. So I'm looking at that. If it fails to hold around that level, then we could see a movement towards the 24,000. But long term, this is going to test 100, 200, 300. Obviously we're seeing a huge debasement, undervaluation in terms of the dollar. All of the news that's happening regarding politics, people need some form of a backstop, a safe haven, somewhere to be able to hold just in case things just go crazy, and this is what people are looking at right now. So as we are regarding technical levels, let's pull up the fundamental. ETH has been absolutely phenomenal. We were discussing that there was a previous resistance level around the 840, broke through that clean. Then there was another one around the 900, just below 1000 level, went through that without even blinking. It held slightly. Take a look at the price. It broke through that, then held the support of 1000, but we're just seeing a continuation in the price now, continue to move to the upside. It's actually showing that ETH is actually currently acting stronger than BTC. I did say previously that ETH was 50% of the previous high and it was undervalued compared to BTC, but it's now at the ATH all-time highs of price around just below the 1400. BTC is still way ahead. BTC is basically double the previous high, and ETH is literally still below the previous high. So one thing you need to also be aware of, that the RSI is extremely expensive, around the 90 at the moment. Stochastic RSI is around 97, 98, so we could see a bit of a pullback in the price, something to be aware of. If it does happen, I do actually see a retracement to the previous sort of resistance. So resistance here, which is now turned support of the 1000 level, so there could be a retracement down. This is only, if you take a look at where we are, we could see probably about 30%, 20-30% move lower, which would be not bad, to be honest. Just to bring the price slightly down, 25% move, and for it to hold and then for continuation. But there are targets of 2, 3, 4, 10,000 by next year, 2022, depending on what happens with layer 2, with in terms of ETH 2.0. Regarding the huge blocks that's taken place, congestion in the market, well, obviously with the huge fees as well, transaction fees, that needs to come down. I also want to see whether there's going to be adoption with Cosmos, adoption with Polkadot, or really is ETH. You have to also remember that ETH has extremely strong community from the inception, and it's going to be very difficult for anyone, a large proportion of this community in terms of developers, to be able to jump ship and move over, especially as they're seeing iterations, they're seeing evolvement in terms of Ethereum, and also this is really being compounded in regarding the price. So this is something to be aware of. Now let's just move on to some news regarding ETH. So a macro investor says Ethereum price growth looks similar to BTC in 2016, 2017. So according to macro investor Raoul Powell, he basically said that he's a former Goldman Sachs head of hedge fund sales business in Europe. He basically mentioned that Metcalfe's law, in terms of the evolvement regarding the technology, and how the adoption's actually doubling every other year. So we're going to see, he's basically saying that there's going to be this whole compounding effect that's taken place. He said Ethereum is likely to gain 2,000%, which would give it a price of 20,000, as Paul explains. He says ETH looks just like BTC. Metcalfe's law seems to be the key to price both ETH and BTC. And we could see the cycle. I do believe that this is not going to occur this year. I believe it's going to occur probably within the next 3 to 5 years, where we'll test that 10x from where we are today. But it's all of a long-term macro horizon. He's also saying that there's an estimated 19 trillion worth of MT money in the US today. While this may sound like a lot, there are currently quadrillions of dollars worth of derivatives built on top of this capital base. So you can imagine when you start bringing in the interesting creativity and the variance in terms of derivatives, how this total market can absolutely explode. So this is something to be aware of and look at. Let's just see here. Basically, analysts basically said he nailed 40k with BTC, but he's saying that there's likely to be a 50% collapse, which could come next. So what they're saying here is that currently price is trading around the 41 mark, but they're basically saying that hyper volatility asset Lee, this is Tom Lee, the fund strat managing partner, who's really been a proponent and a huge supporter of BTC, has basically said that peak performance, that if the S&P falls 10%, BTC is going to have a huge drawdown, and it could be 40 to 50%. Even if where we are today around the 40, getting back down to 20, that aligns with my support level anyway in price. And you can see he's talking about it here. Let's just move on to see where you can be able to discuss about BTC. So anyway, that's the prediction from JP Morgan. Basically stated that BTC should really hit the 146 by the end of this year, 2021. And obviously we're going to see this parabolic move, but in the interim between this, there could be a drawdown where the price could actually move lower. So something to be aware of. Now let's just find out some more information here. If you take a look at UK banned BTC and crypto CFD trading. FCA, which is the regulators, the financial regulators in the UK, basically said broker clients affected by this. It just said that on the 6th of Jan 2021 it became illegal for a broker conducting business in the UK to offer these derivatives. So it's really acting untowards as there's huge demand, as there's huge interest. The worst thing that any regulator should do is really try and clamp down. They should really be open, ensuring that people follow a set procedure, but then you go and do is you go and ban it. So they're now saying that while buying and selling BTCs remains legal, a very few brokers offer this service and instead allow clients to trade CFD. So they're really talking about the CFD aspect of it. So something to really look out for in the space, which means that if you do want to, you can actually just buy the actual direct BTC or ETH, for example, but you cannot trade the contracts for difference, CFD contracts for difference, as a derivative essentially. Okay, so let's just quickly take a look at where we are. CoinGecko, we can see BTC really heading the market cap of 762 billion. The dominance is 67% at the moment. ETH has really started to gain traction now, 71% up within the last 7 days, has 152 billion dominance right now. XRP is really starting to pull back. It actually hit lows of, I think, what was it, 20 cents or something, but within the last 7 days it's actually gone up by half. So something to really be aware of. And then what's quite interesting, the Binance coin, being Bcoin, has steadily been increasing in value, just 6.5 what's this, billion at the moment. So this is where we are in terms of the price, and you continue to go down. So we will now start to see some interest. I'll take a look at Polkadot. Polkadot is 9.3 billion at the moment. It's priced out at $9.82. 7 days, 6% up after the last 7 days. So just something to be aware of in the space. Now, very quickly, I just wanted to move on to an interesting point which I added in which I tweeted, where I basically retweeted. This is essentially one of the richest ETH wallets, and there was a nice thread by this guy Joseph Young. This ETH wallet basically has been actually verified, this wallet, and essentially this ETH wallet has 99.9% of 300 million plus deployed in various DeFi protocols. And they did an interesting analyst about this. So this is this guy's Twitter account, 16,000 followers already, and just set up this account in November 2020, but he actually verified that this is actually his account, as you can see here. So this is basically a verified account, and this essentially shows his transactions that he has. This is the hash. So if we actually just copy the address, it'll be even easier. Put this in here. So this is actually his account. He has basically 654 million in ETH right now. He has $298 million spread over various protocols. You can see that a lot of the protocols are in lending protocols. Ways that you can be able to gain interest. So he's got like Compound, Ave Interest, RNBTC, Grain Token, Wrapped. He's got Badger, which seems to be doing quite well. But anyway, if we just move back, so it's interesting what he stated. Basically said that besides that this guy's wallet he has positions in blue chips, then advocate of YFL, and have been accumulating big positions. So this gives a breakdown, a chart in terms of his assets in the blue chips, and then he goes down that YFL is currently the 4th largest liquidity position linked swap following CR. So you can see that a majority of his positions are in these lending, these protocols, these ecosystems, and not hardly any, well, nothing really in the smaller type altcoins. He's really just focusing on generating interest. So it's an interesting diversified portfolio that he has. And he basically says keen interest in Badger protocol that allows BTC holders to effectively utilize BTC to farm yield. So it's really on this yield farming aspect. And then it goes further down, it just says that this isn't too surprising given that Badger has rapidly become one of the most popular venues for farming using ETH-based BTC. Then he has Keeper DAO, which is Rock. It's another position that he has advocated for farming using roughly 12. He's also involved in stablecoins, so he has ESD, DSD, more stable coins, and started really just a small amount in comparison to his total portfolio. He's got 3.5 million there. So it would actually be very interesting to keep an eye on this specific portfolio to see how he acts, and over the next, let's say, couple of years, and we will be watching this closely just to see this variance. So that's where we are today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to follow me, to like and comment, and have a great day. Bye bye.